The Eagles have 14 wide receivers on their roster right now, and you figure only 6 are probably going to make it. 3 of them will come out of this draft. Yo, everybody, how you doing? King Dingbat here. So today we have come with the hell is that? It's a big ass dog. Dallas still stinks. Yo, everybody, doing? King Dingbat here, and I hope everybody's having a good Friday. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are all hanging in there under house arrest, because let's face it, we're all under house arrest right now. And if you don't have Ben DiNucci cooking for you in the kitchen, you know, the Italian chef the Cowboys drafted, if he's not rolling up them meatballs, if he's not cooking up some pasta, if he's not stirring the gravy with the wooden spoon, sucks to be you. And I know Zeke is eating good right now. I know it. No question about it. Now, one of the things, if you watched my videos last year, if you were in my Eagles live streams last year, one of the things you knew more than anything, you knew I could not stand the wide receiving core we had, especially early on in the year. When we lost DeSean Jackson week 1, and then what we had for weeks and weeks later was horrendous, right? We had Alshon Jeffrey. I thought he looked old. He was definitely hurt. He was slow. He was too big. Then you had Nelson Stinkler. The guy can't track a ball to save his life. He stinks. He stinks. Lost game winners for us. I just get so aggravated talking about him. I'm so glad he's with the Raiders. Then you had Mac Hollins, right? He was there. He absolutely did nothing for up until I forget what week they cut him. But dude, I think maybe in the Miami, it was really late. They cut him really late. But he did nothing for weeks and weeks. They didn't even throw his way. He stinks. Then Whiteside didn't do anything. Okay, they were horrible. You know, the last 5 weeks of the season, I kind of was like, okay, this is getting a little better. You saw Robert Davis. You saw Dante Burnett. You saw Greg Ward Jr. Why Greg Ward Jr. sat on the practice squad all year when he was better than pretty much every receiver we had on that team, I'll never know. But he finally comes up and produces. At that point, it was a lot better, you know. And then we go into this draft. We draft 3 guys that are basically the complete opposite of the receivers we had to deal with last year. Complete opposites. And I love all 3 of these guys. I am so excited about all 3 of the guys we drafted. And speaking of the guys we drafted, Jalen Reagor, he did come up with his number. He is going to wear number 18. I think Jeremy Maclin when I think 18. And it's funny because Reagor in a lot of ways reminds me of Jeremy Maclin. I said before, he's kind of like a very fast Jeremy Maclin. And so him wearing 18, I think, is a perfect fit for him. I hope he wears it well. I hope he lives up and does actually better than Jeremy Maclin did. I was a big fan of Jeremy Maclin, but he wasn't healthy all the time. But he did give us a few good years. I wish the Eagles didn't let him go to Kansas City. I thought that was a huge mistake by the Eagles. However, Jeremy Maclin wore 18. Now Jalen Reagor is going to wear it, and I'm good with it. And when you look at Reagor, and you look at John Hightower, and you look at Quez Watkins, I believe all 3 of these guys make this roster. I'm penciling them in to make this roster, okay? And we have 14 wide receivers on our roster right now. You figure 6 of them are not even going to, 6 of them are going to make it. The rest are going to be gone, right? Maybe some come back in the practice squad, but I figure 6 will be on the roster. Who's going to be the odd man out? That really becomes a question. It's very interesting because right now, as we look at the top 8 wide receivers on this team, you can say Alshon Jeffrey, DeSean Jackson, Jalen Reagor, Ortega-Whiteside, Marquise Goodwin, Greg Ward Jr., you have John Hightower, Quez Watkins, then you still have Dante Burnett, Robert Davis, and then after that, I don't think any of these other guys even really have a remote shot, okay? And I like guys like Robert Davis, and maybe he ends up on our practice squad or something like that, but when you look at who's going to be on the 53-man roster, I believe 3 of these guys are going to be Hightower, Reagor, and Quez Watkins. So, who's the other 3? That's the question. And you got a lot of good players to deal with. Two of them are going to have to be gone in order for this thing to work. So I think the first guy is Alshon Jeffrey. I think he either gets cut or he gets put on the IR, physically unable to perform less, and he really doesn't play that much, a non-factor. I think that'll be the first spot. So that will open up a spot. Then when you look at who else could possibly not be here, because you know Deshaun is a lock, right? So we have my locks to make this team right now, in my opinion, are Deshaun Jackson, Jalen Reagor, Quez Watkins, John Hightower. That's 4. That leaves 2 more guys. Who makes this team? You have to basically choose between Arcega-Whiteside, Greg Ward Jr., and Marquise Goodwin. One of those guys can't be here. One of them can't be here. And that's going to be the big battle in training camp, battle in preseason, in my opinion. Which one of these guys is going to go? Would the Eagles cut Arcega-Whiteside and let him go when he is a second-round pick, only going into his second year? It's very hard for me to believe that would happen. But when you look at him, and you look at his style of play, and you look at every other one of these wide receivers, he doesn't fit. He really doesn't fit. Would they move him? I don't know. I still think they're not going to give up on him yet. So I think he makes a team, which means I think the final spot is going to be between Marquise Goodwin and Greg Ward Jr. It would not surprise me one bit, one iota, if you bring a guy like Marquise Goodwin in here and the Eagles cut him anyways, even though he's got veteran presence, even though he's 29. If these young receivers play anywhere capable or near what he's done, they're going to let him go. They're going to let him go. And then the other guy you have to wonder about is Greg Ward Jr. I love Greg Ward Jr., and I think Greg Ward Jr. should be on this team and should play. That's my personal opinion. However, do the Eagles feel the same way? I mean, this is a team that waited how long to bring this guy up on the practice squad? What took so long? Really, what took so long to get Greg Ward Jr. up? It should never happen. He should have been up weeks and weeks before they brought him up, and he had the big game winner last year. And I want Greg Ward Jr. on this team, just to put that out there. But I think you never know how the Eagles feel about a guy like that who, was on the practice squad, a journeyman. Sometimes they let a guy like that go quick. And then, Marquise Goodwin, a veteran, I don't think he's making that much money, like $4.5 million. However, it's going to be more than other guys. And he's a little older. So is he the guy that the Eagles could let go? It's going to be interesting. The Eagles have cut veteran wide receivers in camp before. This has happened, before. So this could happen again. Will it be the right move? I don't know. But I do think this is going to be one of the most competitive, compelling preseasons, training camps to watch these wide receivers. Because I'm telling you, the Eagles, the 3 receivers they drafted, and I'll be talking more about Hightower and Quez Watkins in my video that'll be coming out later tonight. Oh, by the way, I'm not going to be able to do a live stream today. I wanted to do one at 4. I have a meeting at 4:30. Can't get out of. Have to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to get my ass double moonwalked. You know what I mean? So, this is what happens when you cover the draft the way I covered it last week, and you kind of push everything back a week, work-wise and things like that. It all comes back the next week, and that's what I'm kind of going through right now. So I definitely will be streaming tomorrow, though. That's a promise. I promise you I'll be streaming tomorrow afternoon at some point, Saturday afternoon. But today it's not going to happen. But I will put out 2 videos today to make up for not being able to stream. But anyways, what the hell was I saying? What was I saying? I'm going to be talking more about Hightower and Quez Watkins later on today. But I think these 3 receivers, Reagor, Watkins, and Hightower, make this team. Deshaun Jackson's making this team. Arcega-Whiteside most likely is making this team. And then I think you have a battle between what they're going to do with Alshon Jeffrey, Marquise Goodwin, and Greg Ward Jr. Let the best man win. That's what I always say. I have no idea what's going to happen, but I just can't see Quez Watkins not making this team. I can't. Because I'm telling you, he's the perfect fit for the Eagles. If he was not drafted this year in this draft, he would have been like a 4th-round pick. He would have gone way earlier in the draft. It was so deep at wide receiver. Quez Watkins making his team. I think John Hightower could start by the end of the year. So I think all 3 of those rookie receivers are making this team. I mean making it. I don't mean practice squad. I mean active roster. Okay? That means you only have 3 to go. One of them's going to be Deshaun Jackson. Now you have 4. Where's the one of them's going to be probably Whiteside just based upon where he was picked. Now, if it was me, I would get rid of Whiteside. I would just let him go, and I would keep Goodwin and I would keep Deshaun because he doesn't fit. But I don't know that's what the Eagles are going to do. It's going to be fascinating. Who do you think makes this wide receiving group when it's all said and done? Who's going to make the 53-man roster at wide receiver? I do think they're going to keep 6 because with the new CBA, you now have extra spots on the roster. So I see the Eagles keeping 6. But I would love to know who you guys think makes this team at wide receiver, the 53-man roster. Let me know in the comment section. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. Don't be a dingbat.